I'll go ahead and get started over here. So I'm Maya, and I head up our marketing function here at Focal Point. I'll be moderating today. We have two lovely guests here for our podcast or for our webinar today. That's going to be Steve and Zach, who will introduce themselves on our next slide. But of course, I just wanted to give you, if you aren't familiar with Focal Point, a little intro into who we are. We feel this quote really sums it up best. Focal Point gives flexibility to procurement to create processes and projects in a way that emphasizes what's important to your organization. So that's kind of at the core of everything we do. But in a more granular sense, we're next generation procurement technology by procurement pros for procurement pros. That's really big. We have over 100 years of cumulative experience in procurement within our organization. And we assist with things like procurement process control, workflow visibility, intake management, project visibility, benefits tracking, and even more. So that's a little bit about who we are. Steve, if you want to hop in at all and add to that, you are more than welcome to.
Not at this time. I think we need to go into some introductions, and then we'll get into the Q&A.
Sounds good. Okay, so let you guys introduce yourselves. Like I said, we have Steve here and Zach. So if you guys both want to introduce yourselves, you are more than welcome.
I'm Steve
go right
Buterbaugh. I'm Steve Buterbaugh. I handle business development here at Focal Point. Been here for almost 2 years and absolutely loving it, and procurement orchestration.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Hey, everybody. I'm Zach Bolt, and I head up product and strategy here at Focal Point. I also have been here pretty much as long as anybody, about 2 years since we're a startup. Everybody's lifespan here is not super long, but really excited about what's going on, what we're seeing in the market. I'm excited about this conversation today with Steve and the questions that Maya's going to be asking us, and give us an opportunity in a forum to talk about what I'm seeing from a product perspective and what I hear in the market, and then Steve, what he's seeing with all of the just countless clients that he and his entire staff deal with on a day-to-day basis. It's a really exciting time in procurement tech.
Absolutely. So that being said, thank you for those intros. We'll talk a little bit about what you're going to learn today, and then we'll jump right into the Q&A. So obviously today is all about procurement orchestration. It's your procurement orchestration 101 crash course. And we're going to be talking about what that is, how it enhances your digital transformation journey, which is obviously a real hot topic right now. How procurement orchestration can enhance your current S2P suites, how it maximizes the value of your planned work, which we actually do have a planned work demo coming up on May 8th as well. So if you're watching this before that, make sure you get in. If not, that'll be up on the website for you to watch. And then talking about procurement orchestration beyond just intake. Obviously, intake was like big hot topic. We're all discussing intake, but how does procurement orchestration go beyond that? How does it ensure informed stakeholders and improve collaboration? And then how does it fit in if you already have a source to contract or SP solution? So many people do. Many of our customers already did when we started working with them. And there definitely is increased ROI when you're bringing procurement orchestration into a space that's already utilizing S2P or S2C suite. So that's what we'll be talking about today. Why don't we jump into the first question? And I'll just let you guys get started. So our first question is, what is procurement orchestration?
So Maya, I'll take the first swing on this. And, it's really interesting because the market for orchestration technology, so the solutions literally didn't exist 24, 36 months ago. And there's been many organizations sort of joining the fray. And what I see, at least on the product perspective, is for most people, at least, or most for companies that are servicing orchestration, or for organizations that are looking to purchase it, they come in as one of two ways. They either come in from a request intake perspective, and then they're looking for some way to orchestrate or manage that request through, and it may expand beyond. There's a couple of entry points here. Number one, they either don't have an e-procurement solution, or the one that they have is sort of legacy and it's too difficult for people to use and they have a hard time with it. So they're looking to take that complexity and user experience, make that better. The other, however, is that people also have they have other needs beyond just a procurement related need. So procurement could be one channel that users need to go down. The other could be they need to engage with IT for something, or they could need to engage with human resources. So people expect this sort of front end experience, and that's for most companies where orchestration starts. But when I think about it broadly in terms, at least from our procurement centric lens. I think about it broadly in terms of the ability to take a signal of some sort of need or demand and then move it through a process that is completely transparent to the requester, the business user, the stakeholder, and interacts with systems and technologies that you already have investments in, while giving you enterprise grade visibility. And so what you're doing essentially is orchestrating everything together, all the different solutions, the different stakeholders, the collaborators that you need throughout processes to manage work, because at a fundamental level, you're managing work, no matter what that intake or request signal came from. You're managing work from one end to the other and hoping to achieve a harmonious outcome, and do so in a very efficient and effective manner. So part of the business case for orchestration solutions is creating extra process efficiencies and greater transparency, speeding up cycle times, and that helps, specifically in procurement, it helps them to get more done, and usually helps them get more done with the same number of employees or even fewer. And so, like most of our customers tell us that our solution, and obviously I'm speaking about Focal Point specifically, but more broadly, the business case is an orchestration solution can make your staff up to 30% more efficient. So if you take a conservative view off that and you think, like 20% or 15 or so, that's about a day a week that you're giving back to every single one of your persons. And if that translates over into management of greater work and more spend under management, or more managed spend that you're able to touch and ultimately garner X amount of savings off of for every dollar that you touch, then that's an enormous return on investment there from that efficiency gains that you see from your staff. So to me, that's what orchestration means. And I know different people have different names or ideas about this. One thing that I like that Gartner says about it is, and along with that workflow component that I said, they're very strong on it being the capabilities of the solution being obviously configurable, but contextual and actionable, meaning that we give you information, not just integrations to systems, but data and information at the right place at the right time, so that you're able to make the right decision and not have to move around to other systems, because you're orchestrating not just systems, but data, processes, and people as well.
Absolutely.
I'd like to touch on, Zach, that modernization of the current procurement stack, that visibility and collaboration piece that you touched on there, across all of your organization, including every single person that touches a procurement project, and then that boiled down to procurement folks having one place to view all of their data. It's just that point where these folks have a need that I'm seeing in the market for something like this, not just that intake piece, like you were saying. And I think that is, at this point, from the conversations that I've had, the most poignant piece of procurement orchestration is that modernizing of that procurement stack.
Absolutely. Good. That's good insight, Steve. I appreciate that. And you're on the front lines every day, you and all of your staff having these conversations. So you get a really great perspective from so many different clients. Most of them, good sized enterprises, billion, 5, 10, even, some of our clients are in the Fortune 100. And you're getting a really good sense of what it means to people and the different use cases that they're trying to solve. One more point I'll add to this. I said that people come with, they need an entry point, or they also come with a problem statement. And that problem statement could be, I need ways to ingest contracts. I need ways to manage renewals. I need ways to manage supplier onboarding. And in my opinion, while everybody has, you got your own needs and your journey is your journey, and that's okay. I think looking at it from a standpoint of like, I'm just going to handle supplier onboarding, or that's what I need to solve, is a bit of a myopic view of it, because there are solutions you can buy to do that already. And so our approach at Focal Point is a more broad-based enterprise, giving you the capability to create any sort of inbound signal for demand, traffic cop it all around, and then have the process flows that are applicable for that particular transaction. Because what it really boils down to, usually in my experience, is somebody needs something, and they don't know if they need a new supplier necessarily, or a contract, or risk. So who knows? I don't know. And so people just don't know, but they come with a business need, and they're like, I need help. And so orchestration solutions are an opportunity to really help folks and move them along the curve of getting what they need and getting it much more quickly in a much more transparent fashion.
Awesome. I think those are really, really good answers. And I think we've laid a good groundwork to go ahead and get into the rest of Q&As. So we'll move to question number 2. Question number 2 is, how can orchestration enhance your digital transformation journey?
All right, I'll take the first swing at that one as well. So when you think about digital transformation, and it is a journey. So some people try to bite it off, and they think of it as steps or an event. It's really a journey. And in my experience, most companies are on somewhere between a 3 and 7 year journey when they undertake to do digital transformation. And for many people, that means I'm going to buy a source to contract solution. Great. I'm going to buy a P2P solution, or we're going to go a whole hog and we're going to buy a full source to pay application, and we're going to install that. And my experience, having worked at and worked in implementing multiple source to pay technologies, is that while that will help, one of my colleagues talks about source to contract, and these solutions are great at creating artifacts, sort of a timestamp. I did an RFP, right? Here's my contract. I have an artifact here. We've got a supplier. This is yet another artifact. But the management of a process, because the reality is that in source to pay terms, many of the technologies don't integrate that well, or if they do, they're somewhat rigid in the way that they flow together. And so what an orchestration solution on the top of it lets you do is a couple things. Number one, smooth out the buyer journey across your source to pay investment if you've already got one or you plan to make one, or your source to contract journey, which is where a lot of the strategic work that we find our customers doing up front or upstream of the actual order being released or the requisition being input and approved. Smooths out that buyer journey, but it also lets you do something else as well. It can allow you to pick and choose solutions that best fit your needs. And like, for example, Focal Point has a number of different partners that we leverage that service core, like procure to pay or source to contract technologies, and different ones and even different pieces of different solution suites are better fits for different organizations just based on their needs or complexity or lack thereof or geography or amount of money they got to spend or what have you. And so what an orchestration solution allows you to do is, even though you may have disparate technologies, you can select what fits your needs, your budget, or just go best of breed, and then stitch all of those capabilities together using enterprise-grade workflow that, as we talked about on question 1, and really enabling you to get the most out of even disparate systems and not have to just go buy one suite from one vendor. So in my experience, orchestration enables you to, and I see a lot of people wanting to do this first, like, oh, I need to buy a source contract or P2P, but I'm going to buy orchestration first. And I'm going to do that because it allows me to then be choosy and go get what it is that I want, and then solve all of these other needs that are somewhat subjugated to that overall need to be transparent and to manage the process control a little bit better. So that's what I'm seeing in terms of like